Hey guys, just because I got a little bit of technical difficulties and deplatforming happening doesn't mean I'm not going to keep doing this. So I'm going to keep make another video for you. First one, I'll re-upload them to this Facebook profile, the ones I'd made before in the before times, and get those back up there. I'd done one on hand skills with Evan helping me out. I'd done one with my lawnmower about footwork. But today I'm going to do something. It's fairly simple, fairly basic. It's not going to be very long. You know me, it's not going to be a long video. 12 minutes later, I'm still talking. I'm talking about just a basic set of things for a knife. So first thing, this is a knife. Okay. Ooh, it's deadly. All right. Okay. It still doesn't beat a gun, so don't get your hopes up. The One of the first things I like to talk about with people is, or actually one of the first questions people ask me when we start doing bladed combatives is, how do I hold this? Okay. There's a lot of schools of thought on what's best. You really have to play around with it and find your preferred version. There's some things that cross through all of the grips that are consistent that I think you should take into consideration. So I'll talk about that for a split second. But basically, it breaks down to this. It's either point up or point down. Okay? You're either in what's called a hammer grip, like you're hitting with a hammer. Some people call this one kind of a saber grip, or an ice pick grip, like you're using an ice pick to knock ice off a block. Okay. There's other names, like Filipino martial arts. Usually, this is saksak. This is pakal. Although pakal is the name of a specific type of knife with a reverse edge and some other things. But don't worry about that. Hammer grip or saber grip, ice pick. Okay. There's really only two ways. It's either up or it's down, right? So, saying that, it's either edge down or edge up. Okay. So from a saber grip, edge down, edge up. Now, this is where functionality becomes very eclectic, I guess is a good word for it. Okay. My south grip, blade out, blade in. Okay. If you have a single edge blade, that matters in functionality. The sets that you do, the drills that you do, it's going to actually matter. Okay. Now, you find what works best for you. Generally, this is more dexterous. I'm able to move in a lot more different directions and poke, and it gives me a lot more flexibility of options. This may limit my options as far as angles and cuts and things like that, but it also derives a little more power and aggressiveness, right? So I'm using this more like I'm smashing with like hammer fists a lot of times. Bang, right? Bang, bang. Okay. This is a little more slashy and my pokes are coming at odd angles, right? So I honestly prefer this. If I'm going to have to defend myself, right? I'm never attacking, right? For the record, if I ever have to defend myself, let's go back to this video and I'll say, I never attack first, right? Because you really don't want to deal with that legality, all right? Strike first, strike hard, no mercy. Welcome to jail, right? Or at least a good set of probation. So here's, this allows me a lot more fluidity and improvisation, right? Flexibility from my ability to create angles and defend myself, right? Again, this is going to be a little more aggressive. It's a lot more punchy and draggy, things like that. So there's that. Saber, Pakal, okay? Or ice pick, like I said, whatever you want to call it. Up, down, whoop. All right, so with this, right, there's a lot that's very similar to our stick fighting motions, right? You rarely hold a stick and whip it with the length at the back end of your hand, right? So this lends itself to a lot of the motions you learn in stick fighting, right? Your angles are very similar, that little X motion, your slashes across, right? Your pokes, things like that, right? You're getting a lot more of the same motions, a lot more consistency like you would if you had your stick in your hand, right? This does not function the same way, okay? So let's start with this. I'm going to give you a basic template off of Saber Grip, okay? Now, some people are going to ask, do I put my thumb on the ramp? You can. I'm not going to yell at you if you do, but I may mention it, right? Because you're not completely closing this grip right here, right? There's an exit point for your grip. If it gets banged hard, if you get cut, something like that, there's a weak spot right here in your ability to maintain control of your weapon, right? Even if it's got a nice thumb ramp, lots of good jimping on it, it's still not the same, right? The reason I made this one the way I made it, so it looks like it's got a thumb ramp, it doesn't. It's to allow for the space for my thumb to close around it completely. All right. Yes, I made this. All right. So I prefer to have a full monkey fistful. Okay. So, and that's what I usually teach with sticks, is we don't leave a hole, we don't run our thumb up our stick to use it. We want it closed all the way around it, right? Solid grip. All right, so number one, this is what I call template one. You're going to start from your fight position, right? I'm always fighting like I've got my hands up, right? I'm going to make a diagonal X downward, bring it up, make a diagonal X across, right? It's just making a little hourglass symbol right in front of you, right? Okay, like I said, this is a basic template. Strike horizontal, or diagonal, diagonal. Diagonal forehand, diagonal backhand. Not too hard. 1, 2. Okay. From there, this is where it gets a little funky. 1, 2. This rolls up to here, right? I'm going to go 1, circle, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now with this, let's look at this a little bit up close. Once I've done 1 and 2, this is, see what's happening here? All right. I'm not coming way out here. I'm not coming up. I'm bringing this up. All right. Zap. Straight ahead. This is a shot to here, here, here to here, right? If I'm mirrored, I'm going right down at my chest, right? I'm aiming for a lung or a brachial, something like that, right? Maybe a carotid. Same with these slashes. These are neck, or hand, right? You're looking for a knife coming in at you this way, and you're trying to intercept it with this blade, right? Same motion, same angle, diagonal, right? Whether I have defended myself and now I get to attack my opponent. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, roll, 4. Same thing. Okay. Very simple. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right up the middle. All right. Straight line. Yeah. Okay. When you do this, you may end up straight ahead. You may bring it up at an angle, right? What am I trying to hit? Am I trying to hit the belly button? That's going to cause some damage. Or am I trying to hit the heart, right? How serious is that? Is that guy carrying a deadly weapon? Is he attacking you with a deadly weapon? Those are the things you have to consider, right? You're not going to do this in a fist fight. You yank that knife out in a fist fight, your judgment has been compromised, right? Now, deadly weapon, kind of anything can be a deadly weapon if used properly. So as soon as somebody feels their hand, things change, dynamics change, and then it's for the lawyers to figure out, right? So with this straight ahead stab is kind of at an upward angle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. All right. So next part of this is hand cycling. I'm going to pop my hand out as my knife comes back, right? It's very similar to doing little chain punches, right? But it's timing. This is what you learn from doing sticks, all right? Doing it with your knife, it'll learn you, but doing it with your stick is where it really teaches you how to flow big and create this timing, this hands crossing center line at the same time, right? One going out, one coming back, and vice versa. So what you do is you take your basic 5-count template, your X, your pokes, and your stab, and you add your auxiliary hand to it, right? Not dominant, right? This isn't my dominant hand. This is primary. This is auxiliary, right? It's always doing something, right? It's not weak. Never have a weak hand. Always have a primary and auxiliary, right? Because if all of a sudden I switch, this is technically my primary hand, right? All right. Because there are no left or right-handed people in Kali. You're all bilateral. Okay. So what this is X, tap. X, tap. Huh. Huh. See how this is crossing center line, same time. Right, whack, cut, poke, cut, poke. Okay, then I have to bring this back for my backhand diagonal. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Don't matter what you're doing with your hand, just get it out there, right? Pop, 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 pop. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, pop, 4, pop. Okay. 1, 2, 3, pop, 4, pop. Okay, your number 4 pop, half the time you should be thinking that it's a grab and drag. 1 pop, 2 pop, 3 pop, 4 grab, stab. You're going to pull to you for that last one. Okay, sometimes it's just going to be a deflection, right? Or maybe I'm getting taking a cut on the outside of my arm just so I can get this to do some work. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, hup. Right? Okay. So again, here we are. 13 minutes. Yeah, I told you it was not going to take very long. Let's talk about this for a split second. Okay, then I'll come back and we'll talk specifically about this thing, this grip itself, and the difference between inside and outside. Okay, because this basic template all function off your blade being to the outside, right? It's not very often you're going to see blade up in a saber grip. If you do, it's what I call the unzip grip, because the only thing it's really good for, like I can't slash with it, right? The only thing it's really good for is stabbing and tearing and ripping out and pulling up, right? Ugh. Right? It is not to defend yourself with. If you have your knife like this, chances are you're not defending yourself. You're either committing murder or you really have to do some work to defend the people standing behind you, right? 2 or 3 guys, they all have bricks, bats, chains, skateboards, other things like that, that you really have to make sure that you're the one that's in between them and the things you love. That's what this is for, you know. Even if you have deadly intent is not from anger, all right? You get philosophical. Deadly intent should never be from anger. Deadly intent should always be from love. Not anger at the thing in front of you, but the loves of the thing behind you, okay? So, and sometimes good men have to do bad things. Back to nature, all right? So, I mean, I'd love to negotiate my way out of everything because this shit's risky. I don't want to risk my ass for any reason, right? I want to, you know, walk away. I want to have, you know, time with those things behind me that I love. And the less time the thing in front of me that I hate that I'm spending with it is more time for them, right? So I'd rather negotiate my way out of the bad guy situation. Always use your words first, kids. We learned that in kindergarten. Keep your hands to yourself and use your words. We seem to forget that an awful lot, and then shit goes wrong. So keep in mind, this is just the unzip grip. I mean, it's nasty. It serves its purpose. It has its place, but it's not the same. There's not the fluidity and the ability to intercept. Whereas it's a much more aggressive. Okay, same with this. This is much more aggressive. This one's a little bit defensive. I can use this one fairly defensively, right? Cutting and slashing. But this one is all stab and rip. When that blade is facing your wrist, right, no matter which side it's on, if it's facing up, it's a tear. If it's facing in, it's a tear out. Right, now you can do it with this one, of course, and you can do it with this one. But you're making a conscious effort to do it this way. This makes it part of your natural motion, right? Things to consider. All right, so one more time with the template. X, X, stab, stab, stab. Pop, 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 pop. All right, pop, 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 grab, pop. Okay? All right, I'll show you the more advanced template sometime soon, and I'm going to do another one real quick. Real quick. I don't do anything real quick. From here and from here specifically. Okay. All right, thanks for watching. Welcome to my new old profile. Thanks to Grind, as always. I know, I owe you money. I'll get it to you soon. And I appreciate you guys. Stay safe.